How should you build the Reps of Universe 7 sub-EZA's hidden potential? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, we are taking a look at the Android 18, 17, IMS Piccolo, and AGL Fit BUU, the Reps of Universe 7 sub-EZAs that have dropped here during the mini thank you celebration here on Global Dokkan. Over on JP, these guys dropped back in July during the Tech UI and AGL Jiren celebration. So we're going to go ahead and show you guys what I think is the best hidden potential build for them based on their best usage. So we're going to start with the Android 18. Now for this video, unfortunately, I won't be able to show my personal builds for them because I built these guys a long time ago. You know, before their EZAs, when they didn't have a lot of this extra stuff in their passive. For example, Android 18 didn't have the critical hit built into her passive, and she was a nuker, so you did kind of want that critical hit on her. So that's not necessarily the case now. So I won't be showing my personal builds on this because mine still need adjustment. I still need to wait on either the hidden potential cost drop again, or I pull more dupes of her. One of the two. So let's go ahead. Let's jump on in. Let's take a look at her. So she's got an additional, she's got an attack and defense 108%. She changes STR and Fizz to tech keyspheres. She's got an additional attack and defense 30% per keysphere obtained. She also has an additional defense 50% when receiving an attack. She also has a medium chance of performing a critical hit and an additional chance of performing a critical hit 18% per rainbow keysphere obtained. She also launches an additional attack with a 50% chance of becoming a super attack when there's another Reps of Universe 7 ally attacking in the same turn. She also reduces damage received by 35% when there's another Battle of Wits character attacking in the same turn. So what does this mean, right? It means she's incredibly defensive. Because she is raising her defense by 50% for 6 turns, this means that she's going to greatly benefit from additional attacks. She has some additionals built in, right, through this with a high chance of becoming a super attack, but that's high. That's only a 50% chance. You know, you want to hedge your bets. You want to give yourself an extra layer of that. So giving her an extra super attack just allows her to get to her max defense faster, which is going to help you out in the long run. So definitely want to go with that, right? Because her turn 1 can be a little scary. And if she doesn't get those extra supers, it can be a lot scary as the fights progress on. So definitely recommend going additional attack for Android 18. Now, as far as what to give her for the sub, you can see she doesn't really need critical hit. She has a 30% chance on top of an extra 50% chance. Now, you're likely not getting that full 50 because that means 4 rainbow keyspheres, but with 30 rainbow keyspheres, you have well over a great chance to do a critical hit. So she doesn't need critical hit. So for the sub, I recommend going dodge. I don't recommend going full dodge. I mean, I suppose you could, but her defense is well over 2 million, and with a Battle of Wits ally on the team, which, I mean, that's basically, I mean, that condition is kind of hard to, well, I shouldn't say it's hard, but there's only a few usable cards you can use. Either the Tech 17 or the Fizz 17, or the Fizz 17 and Frieza, or any of the Tournament of Power Krillins cover the Battle of Wits, but you're not using that AGL Krillin because he hasn't sub EZA'd yet. When he does, he will be a great addition for this 18 though, for sure. But given that, I mean, she can easily reach over 2 million defense by her second setup with support, meaning that even without the 35%, you know, it's no big deal. So I don't really think dodge is necessary on her for that, given how high her raw defense is. So you could, it's a good sub choice, but I wouldn't prioritize it over the additional attacks. Moving on to the 17. The 17 is the complete opposite of the 18. Whereas 18 is raising defense, he's raising attack. He's getting an additional 170% on his attack and defense. He's got an additional 17% per keysphere, plus an additional 50% and defense 20% per tech keysphere obtained. He has an additional 50% when attacking and medium chance of evading enemies attack, including super attack. He has an additional chance of evading enemies attack 17 per keysphere obtained, up to 50%. He launches an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack when there's another Reps of Universe ally attacking in the same turn. He also has guaranteed crits when there's a Battle of Wits ally attacking in the same turn. So This guy is designed to work with the 18, although not on the same rotation often, right? Mainly because of the way the key spheres are changed. He is not changing his own key spheres. He is reliant on the 18 for changing his key spheres, which you guys probably saw in the showcase, which means, and he also needs those tech key spheres a lot more than 18 does. The problem is 18 does need the key spheres to max herself out, and she's going to benefit you far greater when she does. So he has kind of a hard, he's kind of a rock in a hard place, you know, right? He benefits a lot from being on Reps of Universe 7 and being next to 18 or 17 in Golden Frieza, but his defense can be a little bit lacking, even with max orbs, if you're not getting those those tech orbs. And even with the tech orbs, it's still kind of rough, but you got to kind of get what you can get with him. So given his placement that you're not really having him on rotation, that other people, especially the 18, are going to be eating up his orbs, I definitely recommend going additional attack on him with a sub chance to dodge. He doesn't need the critical hit since he has the guaranteed critical hit. The additional attacks will allow him to gain that extra little bit of defense since he is greatly raising. That's a 50% raise for the turn, so at least I get a 100% raise on top of whatever he gets from his key spheres with a 70% chance or greater to dodge. I feel like that would work. You could also, right, you know, play it a little bit safer in his case and maybe give yourself that little extra chance shots. Honestly, it's completely up to you. Moving on from there, we have the AGL Fit BUU. The AGL Fit BUU is greatly raising his attack for one turn, causing supreme damage with a 70% chance of stunning the enemy on his super attack. On his passive, he gets key 3, attack and defense 200%, plus an additional attack and defense 200%, and a high chance of performing a critical hit, and a high chance of evading enemies' attack, including super attack, for 7 turns from the character's entry turn. He also has an additional attack and defense and chance to perform a critical hit and chance of evading enemies' attack 10% per Reps of Universe 7 ally attacking in the same turn. He also has an additional 7% up to 77% and reduces damage received by 7% up to 77% with each attack evaded. So this dude is crazy. He is probably the best of the bunch. He does struggle. I shouldn't say he struggles, but right, like he, you know, being on Tech UI's team, he's not really going to have a place. He's not going to have too many links, right? His links all, I mean, he gets a couple links, right? Like Shocking Speed. What does he get? Oh, that's not going to, okay, that's not going to help us out. This is Dokkan info, not the Dokkan wiki, right? So, I mean, he can get the Innocence, I believe, from the androids, Shocking Speed and Fierce Battle, obviously from the AGL UI and Tech UI. So, I mean, 2 to 3 links active, mostly, with his, you know, 50% chance to evade for 7 turns, which is most of the battles. You know, most battles aren't taken beyond turn 8 or 9, so even then, right, he's got a 50% chance to evade, and while you're building that up, right, you're also building up another you're also building up 77% damage reduction. So I mean, it's going to be kind of, he's going to be kind of crazy. He's got crit, he's got ads, he's got dodge, he's got, he's got damage reduction. So honestly, I would probably say give him additional attack and sub evasion. He's going to get enough of critical hit. He's also getting enough evasion, but I mean, the one thing he doesn't really have much of is additional attack. So he's going to benefit greatly from that, especially since he is greatly raising his attack. It'll allow him to do a little extra damage. It also, in fights where you're allowed to stun, will help you have more chances of getting off that stun. So definitely additional attack with him with sub evasion. No need to go critical hit. And that leaves, lastly, the PICCOLO. This guy is kind of all over the place, but on his 12 key, he's massively raising his attack, raising defense for the turn, and lowering attack. On his passive, he's getting key 1, attack defense 200%, and has guaranteed to hit when 80% or less, and if 80% HP is 80% or less when attacking, he has a guarantee seal. When he also has an additional attack and defense 100% when there's another Reps of Universe 7 ally attacking in the same turn. If all allies are Reps of Universe 7, he guards all attacks. He also has Tournament of Participants, which is basically Tournament of Power, Reps of Universe 7. It allies getting Key 1 and attack defense 30%, plus an additional defense 30%. So that's 60% defense for characters who are also on Reps of Universe 7. So really, really nice support here. He definitely wants to be on these teams. Unfortunately, the only 200% for Reps of Universe 7 is the Android. So if you're running him on like Tech UI's team, he's only getting actually, he's not even on Tech UI's team, I think. Because Tech UI doesn't lead Reps of Universe 7. He leads Universal Survival Saga, which this guy is not on. So this is definitely a tough one for him. He pretty much, if you're going to run him, you need to run somebody who leads Reps of Universe 7, because he is technically from the Universe 6 tournament, not from the Tournament of Power. But given that, given what he's doing, where you're likely to be running him, whose team you're likely to be running him on, his defense isn't the greatest. So honestly, this is one of the few that I would recommend going full dodge, even though he would have guard on the team you're running him on. Again, the full post super, he's still probably going to be wanting that extra chance to dodge. I would definitely give him some additionals. So full dodge, sub additionals. This will give him some chance to deal some big damage off that second super attack, as well as, getting a little extra defense and taking advantage of some attack lowering in fights where that can be done. Since he does kind of, like I said, he's all over the place. He's sealing, he's got a guaranteed to hit, he's got lowering attack, he's got support, but also he's guarding without really much defense, which means you definitely want him in slot 3, not slot 1. So, like I said, I think the best build for him is probably dodge and then additional attacks. I don't think he's going to be, while you can take advantage of this second super, he's not going to be dealing enough with it to really mean anything on the critical hit. So, yeah, definitely lean into the dodge. So, guys, that is it for the video. There's only 4 of the characters this time. Like I said, for this one, I couldn't really show my builds because my builds are kind of really, really wrong in this case, because I built them long before they ever received their EZA for I think for like some chain battle purposes, just to get them filled in. And they definitely have things that they don't need, like my Android 18 having crit where she doesn't really need. So unfortunately, I can't show my personal build. So again, recommendations on the 18 are additionals and dodge and additionals, additionals and dodge, and then full dodge, and then maybe some additional. So you're seeing a pattern with this group. Android 18 is the only one out of these, I would say, well, I guess, and this guy. They don't really need dodge, but critical hit is next to useless on them. So that's the only reason I'm recommending the sub dodge on them. So guys, that's it for the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let us know, how did you build these sub EZAs? Did you go with my builds? Did you like my builds? Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.